I will show you how to link a Google Sheet as an external data source to BigQuery. And what that does is it lets you treat it like any other BigQuery table. For my example, I've created a very simple Google Sheet here. It's called Sample Customer Data. I've got some fake information inside of it. I'm going to navigate to BigQuery. If you're going to be using Google Sheets, I suggest creating a data set called Google Sheets. And then underneath that data set, you can create a new table. When you create the table, you're going to select that this source is Drive. And you're going to navigate over to the Google Sheet, and you're just going to copy the URL. You can leave on the edit and the question mark with the parameters. Paste the whole thing in there. Select from your file format Google Sheet. At this point, you have to enter a sheet range. If you leave this blank, it will simply grab the first sheet or the first tab, but you can see I made mine the second tab. In Google Sheets, if you want to reference a specific tab, as you can see in this example, you write the name and then an exclamation point and then the range that you want in that tab. So in my case, it would be CRM exclamation point A1 to D4. So you plug that exact same thing into Google Sheets. CRM exclamation point A1 to D4. Sometimes I will create these to include more rows than I need right now because I know that this might change in the future. So let's just make it D1000. Then I choose a destination. You have to decide what you want to call it. I'm just going to call it my sample customer data. This is going to be an external table, and the last thing you need to do is plug in a schema. The auto detect feature of BigQuery at this time does not work with Google Sheets. So instead, you have to click this plus button and you have to provide the name and type of each column. So you can see my first one is customer ID. It is a string. My second one is first name. And by the way, you can change it so it was first underscore name, but I'll just show F name and L name. It's okay, it doesn't have to exactly match what's here. It just matters that it's column 1, 2, 3, and 4. The last one is email. All of them are strings. You can add descriptions if you want. And at this point, you just simply click Create Table. You'll see now in my Google Sheets data set, I have a new table here called Sample Customer Date. I misspelled that. There's not a way to fix it except to delete the table and recreate it. So for this illustration, I'm going to leave it. I can run a query against it, and you'll see the exact data that I have in my Google Sheet. If I add another row and run the query again, it will pick it up. And you can do that up to row 1000 because I set my range at 1000. I can also move this tab around and it will still work because I told it to look for the tab with the name CRM. Last thing I'll say is that you cannot run a query in BigQuery against this Google Sheet unless you have permissions to view the sheet. Whoever is the principal signed in to Google Cloud and running the query, that same principal has to be able to access the Google Sheet. Doesn't matter if you're an owner of this project, you will still have to be added to the sheet, or the sheet will need to have anyone with a link has access to it.